Hi, folks. Welcome back. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage someone who doesn't really need an introduction, but I'll do it anyway. It's Amandine, co-founder and guardian, and she's going to talk to us about the inevitable progress of Matrix towards being the standard for communication in public sector. So, Amandine, welcome.
Thank you. Well, you did better than me yesterday because I realized that I completely failed to introduce myself. Yesterday, I just blundered on stage and say, "Oh, Robin is not here," and that's it. So thank you, Tom. So yes, we talked a bit about it, and we're getting more and more people in this big public sector track at the conference. There was 1 day last year, 2 days this year, so definitely coming together. But let's start by clarifying something. Matrix is not a chat protocol. And hopefully, you know, maybe not, but it's so much more. It's really bigger than that. That's probably a definition you've seen a lot of time. Network for secure, decentralized, and real-time communications. And it means it can synchronize any type of data. Just chat is one of them. Voice and video calling, one of them. So this means that when we started Matrix, we had to start somewhere. We had to focus on one use case. And we started to look at them. And it was a bit complicated. We ended up with 72 use cases that we could start with. There was one obvious use case which wanted something open source, something decentralized, something end-to-end encrypted, something self-hosted, and based on open standard. They were the pioneers of email initially, so it was definitely something they were looking for. And it was, ta-da, public sector. To which we reacted, say, what? No way. We're not going there. It's way too slow. Tons of tenders, complicated procurement, certifications. Let's not touch it. Let's do SaaS. It was 2017, so cloud was still kind of hype word. People were still like, let's do cloud, cloud, cloud. But then, recognize this slide? The French government actually reached out. They got in touch end of 2017. There was a good reason for it. Macron had just been elected, and he was running the government on Telegram, this well-known, not encrypted messaging system. So yeah, it was really making the headlines, as you can see, from December 2017. So they came to us, and via one of our dev who got absolutely freaked out, saying, I'm at the French government pinging me on LinkedIn. And they asked us, oh, we need something that is open source, decentralized, end-to-end encrypted, self-hosted, and based on an open standard. Matrix looks amazing. Okay. Well, let's do it. April 2019, CHAP was launched. And yeah, as you saw yesterday, still up and running. Those were like very early designs for it. This is what you have today on web, which is pretty glossy and nice. And then 2020 arrived. We all know what happened. Everyone needed to communicate online, collaborate online, teach remotely as well. So that's when it started accelerating. And it started with the Bundeswehr, the armed forces in Germany, who reached out and launched in November 2020. So that was a pretty quick turnaround from that side. And a lot of other projects came in across education, police, collaboration for public sector. Like a lot, Germany was definitely leading the pack, as you could see yesterday. You could see yesterday as well. A lot of the projects actually kicked off at that time. Not all of them turned into proper production deployments, but the thing was clear. Public sector was product market fit, if you want to speak business, for Matrix. And it kept going. You can see, oh, that's dangerous. There's a gap here. COVID 2020, and you can see that there is a bit of a hysteresis between a delay between the event and when the curves actually accelerate because you need time to actually deploy the project. This curve is based on launch date of deployment. So COVID, a few months later, started increasing. Then the war in Ukraine, a few bit later, starting increasing, and on and on and on. And it looks like it's slowing down here, but don't be fooled. It's just like now the projects we're talking about are like a level above. So it's not like 3 months turnaround. It's a year. So it's more like it's brewing, it's coming, and it's still keeping the right curve all the way up and to the right. That's the one from yesterday. If you were here, more than 24 public sector organizations have tried Matrix or are using Matrix. Good. Part of it based on in Europe, also international organizations like the UN, NATO, etc. And yeah, it's quite a nice varied list. So what happened is that yesterday, we kicked off, and Patrick touched on it right now, the Matrix for Public Sector Working Group. I'm not sure it's going to be like, is it going to be an official working group from the foundation? We need to look into this. Not sure exactly what shape it will be taking, but it's definitely let's bring all the public sector organizations in one place, have the foundation involved, and make sure that everyone is going around and collaborating. So that was like the start of it all yesterday up there. And yeah, the objective is very much around sharing. And the sort of things that we have been looking at have been sharing the experiences, the lesson learned. So typical questions is, how do you build your internal business case? How do you convince people to actually go towards something sovereign? What are the selling points to the budget approvers? What are the stepping stones? How do you develop it? The governance, the regulatory challenges, and then the best practices also on the tech side, like what should you be using? How do you deploy it? How do you make sure that you are well protected from outside, etc. Which gets into the problems like secure federation, the MLS integration with Matrix. Maybe come together, have a look at a kind of general roadmap, maybe help sponsor features that everyone is looking for. And in the end, the goal is one, and that's what's really exciting from the foundation perspective. Everyone is really pushy to make sure that Matrix gets adopted across the board and say, how can we get more organizations to adopt Matrix? These are the people who were present yesterday to work on this. So it's quite fun to have all these organizations brought together. And well, yeah, we were not really aiming for it, and we were almost trying to avoid it. But the fact is that Matrix is the answer. It's the answer to resilience. It's the answer to digital sovereignty. So now we have to embrace it, and let's make the most of it. Because after all, email, that's where it started. Email started in public sector, and now look at it. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. And that's precisely what we're looking for Matrix. We're building an open network. We're building something we want to be ubiquitous. So it's fair for Matrix to start the same way email started, and with the public sector side. So I'm not going to, I don't have a slide for it, but again, public sector organizations trying to work on Matrix, come to us. We'll talk. And thank you. That was short, much shorter than I thought. But now I have a lot of time for questions, if there are any.
Any questions in the physical room? Yes?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, most awkward to reach person, but okay.
So congratulations that there is now a working group. We couldn't convince our customer to come here who is in the public sector, so who how can we contribute, or is it open also to vendors and to providers or solution providers, or only to public sector? So how is the governance planned?
Yeah, so it's for public sector. And if the public sector organizations want to join it, they can come to me, and I can coordinate and bring it together. The idea is very much to help public sector organizations get deployed, get out there, and it's create a community where they can support each other because they're all encountering the same problems. So support each other on, very much build your internal business case. Which pocket of budget do you need to try to unlock? What are them? We were talking also yesterday. What are the new regulations which mean that Matrix is relevant? There was a recommendation by the European Union saying for crisis management you should use Matrix, and these sort of things not always end up in front of the right people. So these sort of things, then you can bring into the group and say, when people is aware and say, oh, that's a good way for me to help justify the budget and the project. So that's the sort of things we want to do here.
Maybe more of a political question. So the EU tried to pass a law like breaks end-to-end encryption, and like Signal said they would leave Europe if they do this. So what's the stance on Matrix? Like, would you do the same or would you comply?
So chat control, like Online Safety Act, the day people are trying to put backdoors, like we're never going to put backdoors. So it's going to be complicated to leave Europe with the entirety of Europe on Matrix. So I don't know how that would happen, but we're never going to put backdoors anywhere. So we'll have to figure out. Maybe we'll set an island in international waters and sit here.
All right. Any more? Matthew has a question?
Matthew has a question.
Fantastic.
So on the graph uptake of public sector deployments, I think it got to like 45, which feels like a very low number. Slightly rhetorical question. Is that perhaps countries or what is the granularity of the deployments? If you go back to the graph.
So, I was trying to go directly, but this one?
Or that one.
This one?
Yeah, the graph.
Yeah, so I realized I forgot this is the graph which stops today, but I actually have the graph that goes all the way to 2028, and I forgot to put the big one.
Yeah, but what is the granularity of the deployments? Like in France,
it's everything. It's per deployment.
But in France, it's up to like, I think, 30 servers just in France? Or 30
this is like
ministries?
just CHAP is counted as once.
Right, okay. So this is basically per country.
No, because then in Germany, I have Baden-Württemberg, I have Schleswig-Holstein, I have like all the different groups of people going out and saying, I'm going to deploy Matrix. That's the granularity. So sometimes it's one deployment for hundreds of thousands of users, and sometimes it's a city, sometimes it's just a state or this sort of things.
Sorry for the rhetorical question.
No, I agree. That's the best way I could try to modelize the growth. Basically, that's we could do number of users across the board and build up a public, aggregate all the close federations into one public sector federations to get number of users or something. We could look into it.
All right. I think that is everything. There's nothing in the chat room. Oh, no, wait,
maybe
there's
again?
another?
No, okay.
Oh. 1 second, sorry.
That's a good point. Federation in public sector, cross-border. Was this a topic, or is it a topic? And how can we achieve this, at least in Europe, in broader Europe, not just in the EU?
It's definitely a topic. DNUM and OpenDesk, I guess, or maybe BW are working on it. So definitely there's some work happening trying to get the federation ongoing, and that's definitely part of the how do we achieve that.
All right, I think that is everything. So cool. Thank you, Amandine, for a great talk. And yeah, it's really exciting to see. All right.